Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. To skedaddle is used in a playful way to talk about when you or someone else leaves. Now, the other day, we spoke about the verb to waltz off. That's when someone leaves at their normal speed, but usually in a way that's quite antisocial. For example, the waiter in the restaurant waltzed off with my coat, meaning that he didn't think there was anything wrong with that. Or at 5 o'clock, we were all still working, and John got up and just waltzed off, meaning that he left. To skedaddle is something similar, but to skedaddle means to leave in rather a hurry. We use it in a playful way to talk about the speed at which we're leaving. So, for example, to avoid the chores or the housework, a child might skedaddle before his friend or his mother asks him to help. So, seeing his mother approaching with a list of chores or jobs to be done, Jake decided it was the perfect time to skedaddle to his friend's house. After the concert, we had to skedaddle to catch the last train home. When they realized that they were accidentally trespassing on private property, they skedaddled before anyone could notice. It's been a hectic day at work. I can't wait to skedaddle as soon as the clock hits 5 o'clock. The party was getting awkward, so I made an excuse to skedaddle early. To skedaddle is very common, and we often use it in different ways just to show the importance of leaving a situation quickly. For example, I saw two salespeople coming towards me, so I quickly skedaddled so I didn't have to talk to them. Now, social structures are different here in the UK. We are not very comfortable talking to people at any point other than small talk. So you could easily say, I could see my neighbour coming towards me, so I skedaddled before I had to talk to them. And that's very common. And just on that note, I just want to tell you that if you are planning to come to the UK, one of the biggest problems that people face is actually finding British people to associate with. And what you find is you have native speakers who don't really talk to anyone, especially as they get older. And then you have younger people who have a lot of friends, but none of them British. It's a really weird thing, and I think with younger people, there's probably an expectation that you'll drink, and there'll be a lot of social pressure, and trying to get out of that, trying to mix with maybe healthier English people is always difficult, even for native speakers. Getting back to our examples, the date was going so poorly that I pretended that I was going to the bathroom and then I skedaddled. The lecture was so dull, I just wanted to skedaddle. So this list of examples shows the versatility of the verb skedaddle, to skedaddle. It conveys a quick and often light-hearted departure from various situations. I always use it to talk about my cat. As soon as a Hoover appears, my cat skedaddles. He disappears because he doesn't like it. And there we are. That's the word, skedaddle. to skedaddle. Actually, there were some kids who had jumped into my garden a few weeks ago. I think they were just playing. They were teenagers, but they were dropping rubbish and litter, and they really shouldn't have been in my garden. And here, before we tell off the kids, that means before we shout at them, to tell kids off is to tell them not to do that, to tell them off. It's a nice phrasal verb. But before we do that, we have to think twice, because kids these days can turn violent if they really don't like you, or they could start a campaign of hatred towards you. So you have to be very careful. So I saw these kids in my garden, and automatically on autopilot, I opened my door and I said, "Oi, skedaddle," meaning leave. I used it as an imperative. And the kids, the response was, "Shut up, granddad," which means shut up, grandfather. I'm not sure what was most hurtful, the fact that they called me grandfather or the fact that they told me to shut up. But anyway, they left shouting a tirade of abuse at me. And I was thinking, oh no, that's dreadful. That's absolutely awful. So yeah, you have to be very careful. So skedaddle can also be used as an imperative to get people moving. It's something you could say to your cat as well. Oi, skedaddle. It means get out of my way. Um, or if you're going to work in the morning, you can say to someone, I have to skedaddle now. I'll see you later. Or I'm skedaddling. See you. Bye. So you can see it's very versatile. You can use it in many different ways. The only time, thinking about it, the only time we don't use skedaddle is when it's something really badly criminal. So, for example, I can say my cat skedaddled or the children skedaddled after I told them to leave or whatever, but I can't say, oh, the prisoner skedaddled from the jail. That wouldn't be right. Skedaddled is always used in a kind of a playful way for things which are not so serious. All right, so just keep that in mind. Now, changing the subject a little bit, I remember when I was a teenager, one of the only music concerts that I went to was the band Heart. Heart, like the same word as the heart that beats in your chest, Heart. And they had some big hits in the UK and in America. One of them was called Alone. Another one was What About Love? They had quite a few songs, beautiful songs, in the 1980s. And I think I went to see them once more when I was in my late 20s. And yeah, it seems that they're making a comeback. They're going to be doing a UK tour called the Royal Flush Tour. It'll be going over America as well as the UK. So I'm kind of excited about that, and I'm wondering if I should go. But the only problem about going to these musical concerts, whether you're young or old, is at the end, because I'm one of these people that likes to skedaddle quickly. I don't like to hang around. I'm gone. And yeah, it depends where this concert's going to be as to whether I go. I mean, I wouldn't have thought that it would be in huge places like, they used to have these concerts in large football stadiums. I can't imagine these days that Heart would attract so many people. So depending on where it is, I might actually go. There's a picture of the lead singer here, Ann Wilson. She's a very interesting character. She always battled with her weight, and it's very sad because back in the 1970s and 80s, actors and musicians who had weight issues, the media used to stretch their pictures to make them look thinner, because to be fat in those days wasn't acceptable. And she had lots and lots of surgery done to correct her weight. And her life is also very interesting. I think she adopted a child, and then she got married rather late in life. And as I recall, she's also a bit of an icon for vegetarians. So that's quite something. And they made the news about 10 years ago, I think, because her and the other member of the band, who's her sister, they had some argument and they didn't perform for a while together. But they were icons of the 70s, and I'm looking at some pictures here. And of course, uh, in the 1970s and early 80s, photographers used a different kind of film. I can't remember what it was called, but it made the photos very, very sharp, beautiful things. And there's some pictures here of Ann Wilson when she was very, very thin. And then there's other pictures when she slowly put on weight. And then after her surgery. But a wonderful band, yeah, yeah. So that's today's story about the band Hearts. You'll notice there, by the way, the R is silent. Hearts. And that's something which is prevalent in received pronunciation. R, hearts. You can also hear it with words like words or work. So when R is at the end of the word, like finger or word, almost at the end, it becomes silent. And that's something for you to remember. It's not like that in American English, but in British English, the R is always very soft and toned down, and at the end, it disappears completely. If you think of the place Manchester, for example, you can hear there the R is gone. All right, so just something for you to keep in mind. Well, I have to skedaddle now because I want to prepare the transcript for this this podcast, and then my shopping is being delivered. I hate that. As you know, when the shopping is delivered here, they don't bring bags, and they expect me to be on the floor with my own bags, unpacking crates, while they stand and watch me. It's a little bit strange that. I never feel very comfortable with it, because it's something to do with the balance of power. I'm the customer, yet I'm on the floor unpacking my shopping while someone is standing above me watching me. It just doesn't feel right. But I'm always complaining about that in these podcasts, aren't I? So I better skedaddle, and I'll catch you all soon. See you. Bye.